I don't like Bodemeister. I don't know why they bred this dam to Bodemeister.
Well, the Barnes numbers first time out, especially first time turf, are not very good. But the fact that Jose is going to go here and
no, I don't think you want to just completely dismiss this horse.
You have to use this horse.
How about Banker's
pick 4s, pick 5s? I think you got to use Banker's Beast as well.
Well, I'll show you a stat for Banker's Beast. Mike Stidham's got terrific numbers with his first-time starters in turf sprints, specifically 5 to 6.5 furlongs. Those are big numbers. 10 for 39, 216 ROI. Those are very powerful numbers.
And for a guy who, more often than not, when he's at Tampa, when he's at the fairgrounds, his horses take a lot of money. The fact that he's able to pull off a positive ROI,
he's winning with 10 for 39. Yeah. The number 11 Fracturization is also not impossible. Did chase Stronger Than You Know, and I wouldn't dismiss that horse completely in here. I'm not his biggest fan or her biggest fan. Also, we did want to talk about it briefly if the race comes off the turf, because there is the possibility of some thunderstorms, and do want to keep that in mind. And Vivizano, who's still keeping the MTOs in as long as we can. I mean, we'll take a look at her race. She's going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I mean, if they come off the turf, and this is a horse that my friend Steve Christ and his friend and partner Ken own, both are friends of mine actually. This horse ran really well.
Truth of the matter is, 10 to 1. You're not going to see 10 to 1 shots really run much better on debut and get beat than this filly ran first time out. It's funny too, because we talked about how she had the turf pedigree on the bottom, and now she's at the main track only. When you run as well as she did first time out on the dirt, I think you have to keep her on the dirt until she disappoints you, and I think that's the right move here, because if this race comes off the turf, she's got to be prohibitive, no?
She is. She is much the worst to beat. You never know, though, how they're going to bet off the turf races.
So that can change throughout the day. Don't hold us to the...
I will tell you something interesting, though, about this race if it comes off. If Pure Bodie stays in, Pure Sensation was an extraordinarily good dirt horse. But Pure Sensation was involved in the duel with Byron in that tremendous Woody Stevens here, and was sitting second until the past the eighth pole, and that was a 7-furlong race. So if this race comes off the turf, don't disregard Pure Bodie as a horse if she stays in, because there is pedigree, and with the Bodemeister, this horse has plenty of pedigree to handle the dirt, and I think it's at least worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Race number 8. Big Thicket Scratch is running on Sunday, and here you like Rudy's other horse.
I do, and
why?
I don't know what happened last time. The blinkers are going to go on. This horse had a ton of speed.
You don't know what happened last time. You, the man who believes that wet tracks are the most important thing in racing.
But Andy, this horse didn't.
Anthony, this horse has run 2 times on wet tracks.
And he didn't pick up his legs.
And has been horrifically bad.
Well, then that's another one you got to really keep your eye to the sky here, because
I understand it's a problematic thing. I believe Yankee Division is going to be very tough to beat in this race if, in fact, the track is dry, because he is the clear speed in here with blinkers on, and he ran very well 2 back. The figure's probably a little high for his race 3 back, to be fair, but still, it's hard to really like anybody else in this race, to be honest. I mean, you've got 6% second. Why?
I'm going to be...
Brad Cox?
I know. The gelding. This horse ran like he needed something. And at first I thought it was the blinkers.
Besides ability?
At first I thought it was the blinkers. No, because this horse puts in...
He's not that bad. He's run a couple of decent races. I'm being ridiculous.
He's
actually run 3 good races.
Glimpses.
Yeah.
And,
for Brad Cox, though, and with all due respect to Jimmy Jerkins, you want to take a horse from Brad Cox? Be my guest.
I agree. This is purely, this horse has the ultimate equipment change now, and you got to hope that.
What do you think the ROI is with first-time gelding?
It's
$1.40.
I think it happens so much. I think
$1.30.
It happens so much more now. Well, that's why you got to try to avoid them as favorites. This horse isn't going to be the favorite. This is going to be the third choice, right? I mean, the entry's going to take money. Rudy's going to take a ton of money. I can even see Bourbon Bay.
I don't agree with you about Rudy taking a ton of money. See, the problem is that Rudy...
You don't think if this track is dry...
I don't think the horse is going to be 2 to 1. The reason the entry is 2 to 1 is that Big Thicket with Irad was in the race. So no, I think that Yankee Division is. I think Yankee Division is supposed to be 4 to 1 in here. Yankee Division is not exactly a monster.
He's not a monster, but with the scratches, and he's the controlling speed in here with the blinkers, especially.
You seem to think controlling speed horses get bet off the boards. What about Bourbon Bay? You don't think a stake-faced horse? He's running 4 straight stake races.
Yeah, but he's 3-year-olds only, and now he's facing older horses.
It's July. Who cares?
I'm not saying...
You don't think Bourbon Bay is going to be reasonably short this race?
I'm not worried about the fact that he has to face older now. I'm saying that he's only faced 3-year-olds going forward.
So what? But he faced Campton Bombastic, who would be favored in here. Faced Dream Bigger, who would be favored in here. He faced Independence Hall, and Prince of Pharaohs even be favored in here. So, no, I don't think anybody cares about
I said he's, you know, that's what I said. Big Thicket. I think Big Thicket, 6% will be the 4th choice.
Well, I don't know what price he's going to be because he's got good figs, too. Listen, I've got him in the mix, as I've got Bourbon Bay in the mix as well. Danny California is a horse that, you know, I know he has some gait issues, but what happened last time, it wasn't that he was pinched at the start. He threw his head the second they popped the gate last time out. And because he threw his head, he ended up braking slowly, and that led to him getting pinched at the start. So he was unlucky. Now, obviously, he's had other issues at the start, but the timing was very bad for him. Now, I don't like the rider switch with Rosario off, but he is a horse who has been compromised, and he got caught in a race last time where he stayed right down the rail, where the horse was out in the middle of the racetrack, and the speed was dominant. So don't nod. I think Danny California, the one entry to me is going to be heavily favored here.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. If it's Vintage Hollywood, we'll take some money.
Well, they were almost the same price the morning line, and they scratched Big Thicket, who was going to be the favorite in his own. I mean, Big Thicket would have been 5-2 at David. I don't think David would make the entry 5-2 because, or 2-1 because of the 2. Not that the 2 can't win, and it's supposed to be over 4 or 5-1 in here, but
I felt like the entry, the entry in here kind of had him surrounded, right?
Well, it had the 2 things going for him, but there's other stuff going on, and I think that Bourbon Bay is going to be a bit shorter in here. I mean, this horse, I don't know, he's been a bit of a disappointment, but he's still running decent figs, and he ran well enough in the Mike Lee from a figure perspective in his first race off the layoff. Isn't he kind of logical here?
Yeah,
You're going to be surprised when Bourbon Bay just beats this field? I'm not. There's no killers in here. The problem with our two-horse Yankee division is I'm not sure he's that good, and I don't know where that huge race came from back, but they knew. They bet him that day like the race had already been run. That's a bit of a concern.
He ran well. He took every.
He did, but
he took.
They knew
took
that
on
day.
half the field.
Nice they knew yesterday in the last race.
That's the winner. That's the all-time for me.
That was
152-1 last time. Paid $7. That was paid
big rider
shorter
change.
Price than.
Paid less than complexity. Race number 9 is a good one. The license fee. Let's talk about the horse on the outside. You've got on top, Delika. We'll show her last race. What are your thoughts? You've got her on top.
Well, when you have a filly like Miss Aramet coming up for, this was the former Eddie Pleaser horse, Miss Aramet.
What about Delika?
I'm saying when you have horses like Miss Aramet in a race that are going to put on a fast pace, Delika certainly, who overcame a kind of slow pace here last time out to get the money pretty impressively. Mentality came back to win the stakes. I mean, they finally, after a series of 2-turn races in America, cut her back, and man, she mowed them down.
She did, but you know, there's 2 reasons I'm a little dubious of her. One is she beat Mentality. I know Mentality won a ridiculous race here the other day with no speed. Mentality couldn't be competitive in this field.
You don't think Mentality would be competitive against these horses?
I think she'd be lucky to finish 5th in this race.
Wow.
Now, she beat her easily, but I didn't see that, and she can win this horse. I'm not against her, but she's 5-2 on the line. She didn't win that race with an explosion. She ground out the victory. And I'm not sure that her style is going to be particularly suited as well in here.
Isn't that a feather in her cap that she was able to grind into a slow pace and get the money? And now she gets an extra 16th of a mile.
Anthony, I don't think the pace was that slow. I think the turf was not firm. To be fair, I've seen a number of times the turf at Churchill has been listed at a listing that I wouldn't have listed it as. I've seen it good when you know it was yielding. They don't go 105-3 for 5.5 furlongs on firm turf. I know those courses are remarkable. They can absorb water very well.
They take a lot of water down.
But clearly that turf was not firm. And now, maybe we'll get some rain, and that'll help her today that she handles a little of given the turf, because she clearly does.
Yeah.
But I think the given the turf really helped her last time, to be honest with you, and that was not a firm turf. And we'll see how fast the pace is. Now, I'll handle the cash. We'll watch her last race, and a lot of horses were compromised in here, but I feel very strongly that I'll handle the cash was going to win this race, because when she finally gets the seam right here, she's running through it, and she's running, and she takes the absolute worst of it when that horse, the 10, comes over, just as she was starting to make her rally.
Completely
and
took
she
a path
still
away.
refines her rally. So it's not like she completely gave up. So I think she's very dangerous, and she's an improved horse for your favorite trainer, Ray Handel.
Yeah, my arch nemesis. She makes a lot of sense in here. She was going to win that race, and I thought she was going to. I mean, obviously she wasn't going to win by 3 lengths, but she was going to be a clear-cut winner in there. I could not agree with you more.
Now others had trips,
but she was, but hers happened. I mean, that horse just took her path away. Her path was completely gone.
Yeah,
and like you said, she had every right to stop and finish 9th. She re-rallied and didn't have a lot of time to really compose herself and come running again. She ran a dynamite race. I almost worry that race could have taken something out of her because she had to keep running through. She ran through the trouble. Horses like that.
We'll agree to disagree.
Horses like that ordinarily take a lot of money. And
I don't know what that means, but I don't agree with that stuff. She's 5 to 1 morning line. How short can she be in here?
I think she'll be the second choice.
I don't.
I think she'll be the second choice off the trouble.
So let's to Kyoto. Get Mother or Rose? You got no love for Get Mother or Rose? You don't think she's sort of logical in here?
I'm not really a fan.
Why? She's got very good races sprinting. She ran well here and in Florida. She had no chance in her last start. Why isn't she a logical horse in here? She can handle some give in the ground?
If you think Dalika is compromised by the pace, isn't she equally compromised?
When did I say Jalika was compromised by the pace?
Well, you said you don't know how fast the pace is going to be.
I was making a different point that you were talking about how you thought the pace would be super fast. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. And if the turf remains really firm, fast paces don't fall apart necessarily in these races. So I have a different. That wasn't. I wasn't saying.
Okay.
I think you like the 8 because you think it's going to be some sort of pace meltdown, and I don't necessarily agree with that.
I like the 8 because I don't think she's going to be as dependent on the pace as a horse like Get Mother or Rose could be.
Okay. I think I disagree, but that's fine. I think Get Mother or Rose at over twice the price potentially of the Dalika is probably a better bet. We see it differently.
Yeah.
What do you do with Super Escape? Mike Trombetta does not have good numbers cutting back, and that worries me. But another time who beat this horse just got nailed on the money in the famous 1 mile Nassau that we talked about last week behind the Roger Atfield horse, Elizabeth Way. So that horse came back and legitimized the race, and she's got some good races. I just worry this race may be a little short for her.
A little short, right?
But she's pretty good.
Yeah, she really doesn't have any knocks. I just think she needs a little more ground.
Yeah, I found this to be a tricky race. I think you could really make cases for just about everybody in here. Bridlewood Cat tries the turf for the first time. Now, this is not a turf pedigree. We'll take a look at her last race in the correction because obviously if it comes off the turf, then she is one of the worst to beat. But I do want to talk about it. She just gets completely eliminated. Now, the reality of this race was I think it's a bit of an illusion because it came up a very slow race. And while, yes, obviously she should have won the race, We'll pick them up in the stretch. The whole field just comes together. I mean, this was, and I liked Piedi Bianchi this day, but this was quite a struggle to wire.
Yeah.
I got tired watching it, Anthony. This was
almost
the second last
took
day.
him almost 14 seconds to finish up here this day.
Yeah, this was agonizing in the late stages.
And like you said, I mean, with all the trouble she had she had never been worse than second in her career in the early going, never more than a length or so off much quicker paces. You got to think she was just light years the best in here. We haven't seen her now from watching. She's the kind of filly, and Jonathan Thomas.
She was up here and she got the break.
Yeah, but Jonathan Thomas had, ran plenty of horses in Florida.
Yeah, but he left her up here, and maybe it was tough to get her down there for whatever reason. I think she's going to be very tough to beat in this race if it comes off the turf. But there are other horses that have run well in the dirt near. I mean, you've got Escapade, who ran a nice race 2 races back at 5 furlongs. I thought
Escapade had a chance on either surface, actually.
I'm not ruling anybody out of this race. I'm not against. I don't think Escapade is impossible.
No.
She's got fast races. I'm dubious of the Florida form. I think the 7 is dangerous. Isn't the 7 miss?
Sure.
If this race comes off the turf, wouldn't the 7 be completely loose in here? She's pretty darn quick.
Well, she's the speed of the speed on either surface, right?
Would you really want to leave her out if it came off? If Bridlewood Cash was a short price?
See, I do believe
I'm not saying
her
I expect it to come off, but we just want to talk
about it. If it would have
come off the turf, in case it does.
If it would have come off the turf,
it's unlikely
she'd probably be my pick.
Mine would be Bridlewood Cap, but I would use any of the 167, and even the 2 Great Time. You know, she's got a turf off the turf race. It's bad, but she's improved a lot since then. So I'm not sure she's just not kind of a new horse right now.
Any of these horses can win.
Well, I'm not going to go that far in the dirt, but
I meant on a turf. No, yeah, on a dirt.
Turf. This is a very interesting race.
On the dirt, I think anybody who has a chance to win will be left in.
I wouldn't pick Talika because she's going to be favored in what I think is a wide open race. Race number 10. What'd you do here?
Savannah, Georgia. Troubadour.
Eddie Barker just
Eddie
went
Barker
to Eddie.
love.
He got to the 10th race a little tired. And
tough beat. We both picked her last time, right? Is that what? Both picked him last time, right?
I don't think it was a tough beat. I think she hung like a chandelier. And he did, and I know he lost a head bob, but he should have won this race. So I don't know. I'm a little dubious, and I'm going to take the 2 new horses towards the outside.
Okay.
The 9 Adios Amigos, who may be better in the dirt than turf, but I don't know, has faster figs. Don Terranova now as Brian Lynch. And Mommy's Jewel. The Damster's 2 turf winners, I'm not overly enthusiastic as horse getting the turf, but you know what? This horse ran against some real horses first time out in the dirt and the slop. I'm going to take Mommy's Jewel if this race is on the turf or on the dirt. I like 11-9 in this race on either surface.
Okay.
I've seen enough with our Troubadour. Obviously can win.
Yeah.
Shandian can win. But what was Shandian's excuse last time?
It's behind horses last time.
Got a very good ride by Cancel.
Yeah.
He can win.
He can win.
He can win.
11 can win. The 2 can win. First time starter. The Linda first time starter.
She doesn't win with firsters. Linda Rice, first time starting on the turf, 5 to 7 furlongs. She is 6 for 60, 10% with a 99-cent ROI. In maiden claimers, she is 2 for 17, $1.27.
I feel like that whole family started out for a tag too, right? Because Avi's Destiny was a nice turf sprint in Philly.
Was tremendous. She won us $400,000.
They all offered. That's smart. If you don't think they're worth the special weight,
she's just not that good at dam.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a 1 for 3 in the turf, and they're not particularly good horses.
You ready for the Run Happy Met Mile tomorrow?
I'm ready for a great card here tomorrow.
That's a great card. But I love the Met Mile.
I taped a preview for the Met Mile. It should be available, if not already, momentarily.
I did a pick sheet for Naira Betts customers that I believe the team is going to be emailing out shortly if it's not already out.
You're a great, benevolent man. You really are. It's a great card tomorrow.
It is.
Sunday's card's a fun card, 10-race card. Sunday's card came up strong. There's some nice turf races on Sunday's card. And despite the possibility of some showers, let's see where the other they had my favorite thing. They had the 100%. We've had about 400%.
And one of them came,
and none of them have rained. Oh, it's down to less already. And now they're saying 3 to 4 seems like the time it may start if it starts then.
And it's supposed to clear out around midnight.
And with the warm weather, that turf is just sucking that water
Has to do it.
What?
Has to do it.
Doesn't it? Just drinks it up.
Phil is like hanging out with Phil's my sound effects guy. Phil has a sound effect for everything. When you go to the left, you go, and then you go to the right, you go, woo.
We will be on from 1 to 6:30 on at
America's Day at the
Races, MSG Plus, Fox Sports 2. Correct. I will be on from 4 to 6:30 tomorrow from 1 to 7. Also a special show from 10 to 12 tomorrow. All of that, I believe, on FS1. You can check the website for details. But 10 to 12, we'll be showing the Epsom Derby and the Epsom Oaks tomorrow. I think Enable's making her 20-year-old debut on Sunday. How old is she? 7?
She is
6.
6.
3 straight arcs, yeah.
3 straight arcs, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I believe she's running Sunday, and so we'll be on for most of the day tomorrow.
That'll be fun.
You're on the radio today? 3 to 6?
Yes, 3 to 7. 3 to 6 for Red Brand Radio, and then 6 to 7, the Weekend Stakes preview presented by Naira Betts. Bobby Newman and I have 12 stakes, all 5 here tomorrow, including the Run Happy Met Mile. Great undercard, great card completely.
Who do you like in the Run Happy Met Mile?
That would be McKenzie.
Two schools of thought on him.
Yes.
We are in different schools, but he can obviously win.
Tomorrow will be a zesty enterprise up here on Talking Horses, I believe.
Well, it's going to be a lot of races to discuss in a relatively short period of time. Anyhow, if you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over. Oh, we'll give you the 5-to-1 guaranteed odds, by the way, if you are a member already or want to sign up through the
That's
app
fantastic.
only. Cap at $20. That's on tomorrow's Met Mile, but also let people know. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, we will match up to you $200 worth of a deposit. Use the promo code MATCH200, NairaBets.com for more information.
The man's back.
Who? Johnny I. That's right. Right. We appreciate Frank Miramati. Of course, he'll be down on the shore as they get underway at 5 o'clock today with a 6-race card, 12 races tomorrow. The normal post, I saw that they made a saner decision, and I believe they capped attendance at 2,000 people down there.
Oh, is that what
I read
what
that
they did?
somewhere today.
Okay.
Anyhow, as you mentioned, he's back. He is back.
The man.
John Imbrial, the voice of New York racing, up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. A mix of sun and clouds right now here at Belmont. The temperature in the mid-80s. Main track fast, turf courses firm. The portable rail up at 9 feet on both the Widener and the inner. And we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $160,761. Here now today's changes. In the first race, we have overweights. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 will be 1 pound over, and number 5 is 2 pounds over. In the second race, scratch 1A, Unbridled Adventure. 3, Daria's Angel. Scratch 4, Solitary Gem. 7, OK Honey, and 9, Beyond Discreet. In the second, scratch 1A, 3, 4, 7, and 9. No changes in the third. In race 4, scratch the 8, Lady Macho. Scratch the 8, Lady Macho. In the fifth, which begins the Empire 6, scratch 2, Missile Bomb, and 5, I Love Lulu. Race 5, scratch numbers 2 and 5. Sixth race, scratch number 4, Vigilante's Way. Scratch the 4. In today's seventh race, please note that all horses will be carrying 2 pounds over. Eighth race, scratch 2B, Big Thicket. 4, Copper Chalice, and 9, Quintarelli. Scratch 2B, 4, and 9. And note that number 5, Bourbon Bay, is 2 pounds over. The ninth race, the License Fee Stakes. These horses will be 2 pounds over. Numbers 1, 2, 4, and 6. In the 10th race, these horses will be 2 over. Numbers 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11, and 12. Scratch 13, Tempesta, 14, Fluent in Sarcasm, and 15, Ratchet. In the 10th, scratch 13, 14, and 15. Main track fast, turf courses firm.